Why don't we feel confident we can shape the future? That's one of the core questions my thoughts have revolved around for many, many years. And why this is so? Well, the answer lays in my profession as a trainer for sales and management over the last 10 years. And it is rooted in a recurring observation that I see whenever I enter a new training environment with new people. I call it the insignia of skepticism. If you ask yourself now, what the hell is he talking about? Well, let me show you what I mean. It's always the same insignias. It's the crossed arms, the reclined body, compressed lips, right? Then we have these contracted eyebrows and a tilted head. And this is a common view I'm repeatedly seeing at 9 a.m. in the morning when I meet a new training group. And this behavior that affects roughly 20% of the participants I'm meeting was and has always been highly confusing me, and by extent, the other participants in the room. Because the rest of us, we share the common perspective on what a training can be. A chance to broaden your horizon, to learn something new, to challenge the status quo and specifically your own habits. In other words, to shape the future. So, to clear up my confusion and to find an explanation for this phenomenon, I got myself on a mind journey around the core question, what are these people so afraid of? So I started a holistic analysis of human behavior, and I stumbled across philosophical and scientific studies and analyzed their relation to our existence and our behavior. And after months of research, a lot of sleepless nights, and many unreadable scribbles on my iPad, I thought I found a clue. It must have something to do with the future. So to prove this hypothesis, I started an experiment that I'm repeating continually for more than 2 years now. And today, I kindly invite you to become my next guinea pigs as a test group for this experiment. So please imagine I'd be giving you a time machine such as this. You can now travel to one specific point in time once, and don't worry, other than in the movie, you can come back safely without plutonium in your pocket or a lightning hitting the town hall clock of Hill Valley. If you had this opportunity, which year would you choose? Somebody? The lady? Which year would you like to visit?
To be honest, I'm happy.
You happy with the status quo? If you had to, where would you go?
I'm not sure it's a tricky question, to be honest. The main idea.
So I recognize you're indecisive. Okay, fantastic. I'll give you some time to think about it. Over there.
50 years ago.
50 years in the past. Anybody else from the back? Where would you guys would like to go? Anybody? 1930s.
10 years into the future.
10 years into the future. All right. 2086. All right. So let me solve this mystery. First of all, thanks for participating. Let me solve this mystery. Most of the people I'm asking this question, and you just proved it today, would like to go into the past rather than visiting the future. So if we come back to my initial question, why don't we feel confident we can shape the future? I think I found an answer. Because we are afraid of the future. Some more, some less, fair enough. But to some degree, we are all wired to survival, and we share this fear because it's deeply rooted in our primal instincts since more than 50,000 years ago. And I came to the conclusion that once we have reached a stable situation in life where everything runs smoothly and everything works well, we want to freeze the status quo. We don't want to change anything anymore. Our brain believes that from now on, we can only lose, comfort, stability, security. But this, though, is a dangerous, subconscious misconception of potential dangers which are really existing in the world we live in today. And it's dangerous for one specific reason, and that is time keeps running. And if we stand still and put ourselves to a hold, the world will keep spinning. And then time will surpass us, and ultimately we will be left behind. And is this an acceptable scenario for your own future? Are you willing to accept that we are just passengers of our own fate, of our own future? Or do we want to go back into the driver's seat and take control against our irrational subconsciousness? Well, as you might imagine, I choose the latter. And it became my vocation to change things to the better. And I made it my mission from the bottom of my heart to help people to fight this irrationalism and to get back into the driver's seat of their own life. So, how do we do this? How do we take back control? Well, the answer is so simple, it's almost too good to be true. And here it is. Well, obviously, this is not it, but please allow me to show you how I take back control. The method I created to challenge the future and to change it to the better is called the delta X square method, and it is a very simple 3-step process. So whenever we want to change something or whenever we are affected by change, it all starts with recognize. So if I want to change something, then I need to collect as many information points as possible. So I just collect data. I do this in a chaotic fashion, and I don't make the mistake to structure it right away. No structure, no evaluation. Just all the information on a blank page, and we leave it there. Once we have recognized what is happening around us, then the second step comes, which is understand. Because once I have understood, or once I have recognized what is happening in my field of observation, now it's my turn to understand why the things are happening in a certain way. So I take these information points and I put them in context. I try to find red threads, certain commonalities. I cluster the information. And by doing so, I get a bigger and better picture of the thing that I want to observe. And now comes the third step. And this is the beauty of my 3-step process. This step is called shape. And the beauty is that it happens automatically. Because once we have recognized what is happening in our field of observation, and after we have understood why the things are happening in a certain way, the next necessary action points to change something, to shape the future, are self-revealing to us. And that's the beauty of the delta X square method. So now, if we come back to the time machine that we initially needed to visit and travel into the future. The good news is this is not necessary anymore. We don't need this time machine. Why? Because our brain is the time machine. It's our window into the future, and it helps us to visualize the future and therefore visit it mentally, in other words, to change it to the better. So this, our brain then just needs the right fuel. And we can provide this fuel by applying this 3-step process, recognize, understand, shape, to anything we want to accomplish in life. So with my little nudge today, I want to encourage you to start a conversation, even if it's just a conversation with yourself. Ask yourself the question, how powerful am I to challenge the status quo and to change the future to the better? You have it in your own hands whether you are just passenger of your own life or if you jump into the captain's chair and take back control. So please take away this one belief. Change starts in the mind, and only one person controls it. You have an idea who that is? Exactly. It's you.